You're wondering if your avoidant ex misses you. Well, we're going to talk about it, and at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you some critical advice, so keep watching. People with an avoidant attachment style had an upbringing where their caregivers were emotionally distant. So, avoidants are conditioned for emotional disconnection. It's not that they don't have emotions, they do, but they have trouble expressing their emotions. They've been conditioned from childhood to suppress their emotions. They're emotionally hyper-independent, right? It's an insecurity. So yes, independence is healthy, but hyper-independence is an insecurity. So they fear getting too emotionally involved with someone. They fear getting too close to someone. That can be scary for them. Now, before we get into the question of whether they miss you or not, we have to review the anxious-avoidant enabling cycle. Now, here we are. This is the anxious-avoidant enabling cycle. So everything is fine at first, at the beginning of the relationship. An insecurity inevitably is going to be triggered in either partner. It doesn't matter which one, the anxious attachment style or the avoidant. When that happens, the avoidant is going to pull away. When the avoidant pulls away, this is where things get messy because the enabling cycle starts. When the avoidant pulls away, naturally someone with an anxious attachment style is going to feel their fear of abandonment wound being activated. Their insecurities are going to be amplified. Naturally, they're going to want to pursue their avoidant partner. And the more they pursue their avoidant partner, the more the avoidance insecurities are going to be activated. When the avoidance insecurities are activated, it's going to cause them to create more distance. The more distance that they create, the more the insecurities of the anxious partner are amplified. And this cycle continues. It's such an unhealthy cycle. If you have an anxious attachment style, this probably looks familiar to you. You've probably experienced being the over pursuer. And if you're an avoidant, you've probably experienced the other side of this, trying to create distance as an anxious partner is chasing you down when you're trying to emotionally self-soothe and create some space for yourself. Now, the avoidant can't, okay, now listen up, okay, because this is important. The avoidant can't miss someone who is in constant pursuit of them, right? Does that make sense? So this is only going to cause them to pull further away. The more you pursue them, the more they're going to want to create distance. They can't possibly miss you if you're constantly pursuing. So this cycle right here is no good. So we need to break this cycle. How do we do that? Well, a secure person, someone with a secure attachment style, is aware of this cycle and they won't even get involved with it, right? They may for a bit, maybe for a little bit right after the breakup, but they know not to keep going, okay? They know when to take a step back and set their boundaries. So if you have an anxious attachment style, this is going to be hard for you because, again, your impulse is to over pursue. You want to hold on tighter. You want to save the relationship, right? So after a breakup, after a separation, you need to stop pursuing the avoidant and instead pursue yourself, right? Pursue your own life, pursue your own dreams, your own hobbies. Give yourself time to get over your avoidant ex. Give them time to process their emotions, okay? It gives both of you time to process your emotions. You need time for your anxiety to settle. Quit pursuing your avoidant ex. Start pursuing yourself, okay? And that's going to be hard, but when you have self-awareness, it'll make it a lot easier. When you're aware of this cycle, when you're aware of your fear of abandonment wound and your tendencies, it'll make it easier to put those insecurities in check. And here's what's going to happen when you do that. When the avoidant is left alone to process their emotions, their fears are going to settle down. Okay, once those fears are settled down, this can take a few weeks, it can take a few months, but once those fears are settled down, then they'll be left over with their feelings and they can actually come to miss you, right? So this is what's called delayed realization. So at first, when you stop pursuing them, they're going to feel relieved. They're going to feel so relieved that you've left them alone, that you've stopped chasing them. But as time passes, as their fears settle, they'll begin to notice your absence. And that's when they can actually start to miss you, miss the relationship. But they'll hardly ever show it, okay? So to tell someone, hey, I miss you, even to send a text message like that, to tell someone you miss them is vulnerability. And avoidants don't like being vulnerable. So if they do reach back out, it'll be very subtle and indirect. They'll rarely share their emotions openly and sentimentally. So here's the critical advice that I wanted to share with you, that I promised you, right? Once you stop pursuing them, you give them space, you give yourself time, and you pursue yourself. Your goal is to get to a point where you no longer care if they miss you or not. That is the goal, okay? To get over them. Get yourself to a point where you don't even care if they miss you. You're not even thinking about that, right? That's the critical advice that I want to share with you, and you should really keep that in mind. It's really going to help you work towards your a secure attachment style. So, again, it's going to appear as if they don't miss you, but they certainly can and often do after enough time has passed. Every relationship is different, of course, depending on the seriousness and how the breakup occurred. So, let me know in the comments, have you ever been in a situation like this where the avoidant ex started to miss you? Did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? If you're the avoidant, how did this feel for you? Did you miss your anxious partner? Did you want to reach out to them? Let me know in the comments. Share your stories, share your experiences. Let's get the discussion going. I hope I brought some good into your life today. If so, please like and subscribe. And again, please continue sharing your stories. The discussions have been great. And if you think this video might help somebody, please share it with them. Until next time, you take care. I'll see you in the next.